We are going to bring in our next guest right now, Bob Rice. He has been a critic of Eric Schmidt, saying that Schmidt lacked in innovation. So Bob Rice is with Tangent Capital Partners beside me here in the newsroom. Bob, thanks so much for coming in to talk about this. So Schmidt, it seems like, is going to go upstairs, take a little bit more of a hands-off role. Larry Page comes back as CEO. Is Larry Page the right leader? Maybe Schmidt isn't, but is Larry Page the right person to take over this now behemoth company?
I personally am not convinced that he is, and I think that this is kind of a peculiar game of musical chairs because the rationale has not been clearly articulated, number one. And number two, Larry's a brilliant innovator, obviously, from many years ago, but what exactly, if he was not qualified explicitly to be the CEO 10 years ago, why is he now? Just because he got older? I mean,
well, you can say age brings a little experience,
right?
Yeah,
but I mean, this is a huge company. It's a crucial company, and I don't think he deserves to be in the sense of, well, it was his company because he founded it. Now he deserves a chance to run it. I've heard people say that. I don't understand that idea.
Well, also, you know, Google was founded with 300 people. Now there's over 20,000 employees,
Precisely.
So it's a different animal.
Oh, it's a completely different animal, and it's the, you know, the traditional problem of an entrepreneur trying to run a large company. And I mean, very, very, very few people. Steve Jobs is one.
I was just going to say, so what if Larry Page is the next Steve Jobs?
Well, I think he's proven that he isn't, to be completely blunt. He just doesn't have the public persona. He doesn't have the articulatable vision. He doesn't have the charisma to draw people. I mean, he's a great guy, don't get me wrong. He's great at what he did.
Scientist.
Super computer scientist. All those guys are. But frankly, there are too many computer scientists. Google is a company of algorithms. And this is a lot of the reason that they have failed in some of their efforts.
Yeah, we know that they've become, for better or worse, a one-trick pony. I mean, it's a great trick, but it's
an amazing trick.
Yeah.
I wish I had it. Amazing trick, but it is only one trick, and the times are changing. Even though the earnings keep going up, it's like watching the tide come in. It keeps coming in until all of a sudden it's going out.
In fairness to Google, their earnings blowout got overshadowed 100% by this change in management.
Absolutely, they beat earnings again. They're an amazing cash machine for now, but they face some really fundamental strategic challenges here because, for one thing, mobile search is not nearly as profitable as desktop search.
So what happens now? I mean, what does Google do now? I mean, essentially, they've lost the social networking war to Facebook. Yeah. So what now?
I think that the Uber battle here is going to be the race to the cloud, and there are really three horses in it. Apple, which has a great start, and there's a very tantalizing new hint in the SDK for the new operating system there about how they're going to connect to the cloud and allow users to go stream directly to the cloud from their iPhone and from the cloud to the iPhone. And that's going to be really interesting and exciting. This is where Google may have a real shot with Android, because if they build Android, and I assume they have.
And they're still number one in the smartphone space. If you look, it's Google Android is first,
right,
then RIM's BlackBerry, and then Apple's iPhone.
Exactly. So horse number two in this race to the cloud is Google, because they have Android and they have Google Docs and other things that are useful in the cloud. And through Android, they can connect a user from their handheld to the cloud. So that's really the really interesting thing. And then, of course, there's Microsoft, which has the embedded user base with Word and Outlook, but hasn't been very successful with the mobile apps yet.
All right, Bob, thanks for coming in to talk to us about that. Bob Rice joining us there, Tangent Capital Partners.